Hello, and good evening. Today we're going to dive into the topic of how psychedelics influenced Mesoamerica. And tonight's approach is going to be a little different than your typical conclave, in that I'm going to be reading in a form that emotes physical, visceral connection, and hope that this can be a fun and exciting adventure for all of us. And should this bode well, we will continue these in different ways. So thank you for joining me. My name is Benjamin Moore, and I am a co-founder and co-executive director of the Sacred Synthesis, a psychedelic church that is primarily focused on bringing education, support, community, and sacraments to you, and helping to enable your connection with higher states of consciousness, infinite expansion, concepts of limitlessness, and all the good things that you can imagine beyond. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, this was a good opportunity to find somewhere comfortable to sit. And perhaps if you have shoes on, I would invite you to remove them so you can feel the ground beneath your feet. Sit and get comfortable. And if you feel like it, you can even close your eyes and just go on this ride with me. So, yeah, we're going to begin in just a moment. Here we go. It's just before the dawn, water dripping off limestone, cicadas pulse. You can hear one howler monkey in the distance. Feel the ground. Your bare soles press into warm, gritty limestone. Still holding yesterday's sun, but the night air is sharp, wet, smelling of crushed ferns and distant rain. A torch hisses beside you. Pine pitch popping, copal resin melting into thick, sweet smoke that clings to your hair, coats your tongue. A priest steps forward. His hands are rough as bark, indigo stained, smelling of copal and old sweat. He presses a clay cup to your lips. The rim is cool, slightly chipped, tasting of river clay. Inside is a black paste, sticky, heavy, smelling of fermented honey, bitter cacao, and something electric, like licking the air before the lightning. You tilt the cup. The paste slides down your throat. Slow, thick, alive. It coats your tongue, burns gently, settles in your stomach like a warm stone. You wait. 10 heartbeats. Thump, thump. The stars liquefy. Each drop hisses where it lands on the pyramid steps. The stone exhales. A low rumbling sigh that vibrates in your sternum, tickles your ribs. A serpent of liquid gold uncoils from the base. Its scales clink like obsidian knives. It slithers up the steps, slow, deliberate, brushing your ankles with cold, smooth pressure. It wraps around your ribs, tight, pulsing, smelling of wet stone and ozone. You are inside the blueprint. Teonanácatl, flesh of the gods. They grow where lightning splits oak. You kneel in the wet moss, cool, spongy, smelling of rot and rebirth. Your fingers sink into the loam, dark, rich, alive with worms. The caps are velvet blue, glowing faintly like foxfire in a cave. You pinch one, soft, damp, smelling of wet earth and divinity. The Aztecs fasted 3 days, only water and smoke. On the fourth dawn, they ate 2 caps, one for the body, one for the soul. First chew, metallic like blood and rain. The texture is rubbery, then mushy, then dissolving into bitter juice. It coats your teeth, numbs your gums. Then, colors bleed. The sky unzips with a wet ripping sound. Your grandmother, dead 40 years, sits on a jaguar pelt. The pelt smells of musk and old smoke. Her voice is wind through reeds. Move the cornfield east. The flood is coming. Next morning you smell the flood before it arrives. Wet clay, rotting leaves, iron in the air. You move the field, bare feet in mud, sweat stinging your eye. The water roars past, cold, brown, smelling of death. The village eats. Peyote. A spiky green coin, no bigger than a child's fist, covered in white tufts that prick your fingers. Maya warriors carried them in deerskin pouches, warm from their bodies, smelling of sweat, sage, and blood. Before battle, they bit down, crunch. Bitter juice floods the tongue, like chewing on a battery made of desert sun. The spines scrape your lips. Spit turns pink, foamy, tastes of copper and dust. Then vision tunnels. The enemy army, their fear is a red cloud, thick as monsoon dust. Smelling of sour sweat and panic, you taste the iron of their terror. You charge through the cloud, hot wind in your face, sand in your teeth. It parts like smoke. Victory smells like blood, marigolds in burning copal. Alaliqui, morning glory seeds. Tiny black pearls, hard as obsidian beads, cool in your palm. Aztec oracles poured them into a mortar. Volcanic stone, warm from the sun. Scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. The seeds crack under the pestle. Dust rises. Sweet, floral, with a hint of poison. Mixed with cacao foam, frothy, bitter, smelling of earth and fire, and ground chili that burns the throat like hot coals. Drunk at midnight, the cup is warm from their hands, smelling of cacao butter and sweet, sweet sweat. First sip, sweet, then fire, then numbness. Silence. Then, a voice not theirs. It vibrates in the bones of the skull, tickles the inner ear. Your king will die by water. 3 months later, Montezuma drowns in Lake Texcoco. The water is cold, black, thick with algae and betrayal. You smell the lake on the wind for weeks. Bufo toad venom. The toad is warty, moon-eyed, sits in a clay bowl that smells of river mud. Shaman scrapes the glands. Sticky milky ooze that stings the fingers. Smells of ammonia and burnt sugar. Mixed with charcoal ash. Gritty, smoky, rubbed on your gums. Burn, tickle, pop. You're falling, upwards. The jungle inverts with a wet sucking sound. Your skin splits. Fur erupts, coarse, worm. Claws click on stone, sharp, real. Night vision ignites. Every leaf glows emerald, veins pulsing. You leap a river, splash, cold shock, water in your mouth. Tastes of fish and moss. You land as human. Your mouth tastes of copper, jungle rot, and toad. Next day you carve the face you wore. Baby cheeks, jaguar snarl, downturned mouth. The stone is warm from your hands. You press your thumb into the snarl. It fits. Teotihuacan. The avenue of the dead stretches like the black river of polished stone. Your sandals slap, slap, leather on stone, echoing. To the left, the pyramid of the moon. Its steps glint silver under starlight, smelling of cold stone and night-blooming Sirius. To the right, pyramid of the sun, built over a cave that breathes cool, damp air into your face. Archaeologists found peyote buttons, dried, shriveled, still bitter to the tongue, mushroom spores in the soil, powdery and earthy, toad bones in elite graves, small, hollow, and smelling of dust. Every summer solstice, the sun kisses the cave mouth. The cave inhales, cool, wet breath. The city roars, 100,000 voices, one heartbeat, smelling of sweat, copal, and maize. Mushroom stones. You're in a Maya kitchen at dawn. Smoke curls from the comal, tortillas charring, smelling of lime and corn. Grandma's hands, knotted strong, smelling of soap and wood smoke. Grind Teonanácatl and a stone shaped like a mushroom. Scrape, scrape. The powder is fine, dark, smelling of wet, earthy divinity. Grandpa drinks. His eyes roll white. Great-grandfather appears. Smells of copal, old sweat, and river water. Plant beans with the corn. They do. The soil sings. Warm, loamy, smelling of life. The harvest doubles. The stone is passed to the next generation. Warm from hands, smooth from use. Xochipilli, greenstone statue, cool to the touch, smelling of rain and moss. He's blissed out, lips parted, breath visible in the torchlight. His skin is tattooed in plants, mushrooms, velvet caps, soft under your thumb. Morning glory, purple trumpets smelling of sweet rot. Datura, white bells, heavy, narcotic scent. Sinichuchi, yellow flowers, smelling of warm honey. People came with syphilis sores, hot, weeping, smelling of pus. Grief like stones in the chest. They dance barefoot on cool stones. Sweat between toes, copal and hair. Drink flower brews. Tasted of sunlight, tears and chili. They left laughing, skin glowing, smelling of marigolds and rebirth. Palenque. The pyramid tomb smells of moss, candle wax, and bat guano. Inside, King Pakal on the sarcophagus lid. A world tree erupts through his body. Roots into Xibalba, cold, wet, smelling of decay and river silt. Branches extend into the Milky Way, sparking. Infinite, smelling of starlight and cold stone. The tree is an endless fractal. You touch the carving, smooth, cool to your fingertips. Your fingerprints fit in the groove. The Olmec were jaguar, baby-face, jaguar snarl. The stone is warm from the carver's hands. You press your thumb into the snarl. It fits. The snarl smells of fresh-cut basalt and toad venom. So what did psychedelics build? Not just pyramids, a civilization that listened. Where? Cornfields moved on mushroom advice. Wars won on peyote foresight. Kings ruled by divine download. Grief healed in flower temples. Art was revelation, not decoration. The Spanish burned 10,000 codices, called it the devil's work, but the stones stayed. The mushrooms regrew, and the toads croaked on. Today, Johns Hopkins gives psilocybin to cancer patients. They come back fearless. VA hospitals use psychedelics to treat PTSD, and veterans get to hug their younger selves. Peyote circles heal addiction in native communities. The ancient didn't discover this, they were gifted it. So next time you see a pyramid silhouette at sunset, don't see steps, see ladders of light. People built pyramids and drank in the starlight, danced with jaguars, and woke up architects. The gods hid themselves in nature. The people of Mesoamerica took nature into their bodies and birthed history. Wow, that was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm very excited to continue to bring this type of content to you as it comes forward. There's an interesting membrane, if you will, between mystical conversations and a matter-of-fact lecture, as it were. And I really enjoy dropping into a more visceral, a more textured experience. So if this is something that is of interest to you, please comment or message us and let us know. And we'll continue providing some items like this in our content. And just as a reminder, on November 23rd is our next streamed meditation ceremony featuring the Unity Mist and the Light Wand. So if you haven't already, join, go onto our website, onto the events page, and you can click on the link. It will take you to the Riverside webinar login sign up page, and you can sign up there. Alternately, there will be a link placed in the emails that you're receiving as we get closer, so you can just tune in. However, if you register, you'll be privy to any updates should there be any changes, and you'll be the first to know. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and thank you so much for tuning in to the church's content. And we're very excited. Next week on Thursday, Cynthia and Maura are bringing forward Light Language Conclave, and it's going to be very interesting. So if you haven't already signed up to be reminded through subscribing to our calendar, I highly recommend that. It will keep you in the know, and you will have information on any updates as they come forward and are added to our calendar. And also, I'd like to say, next week we're going to try again to tune in for the connection time with me. This week there was an error in the system, and the call was dropped towards the beginning, and I lost the conversation with some of you who had joined in. So with that, I apologize, and I'd like to invite you to join me next week, and we can make it up. So with that, everyone, have an amazing night and continue to expand beyond your beliefs. Peace.